The fluorescent lights of LaGuardia Airport blur as I sprint through Terminal C, my heels clicking against the polished floor like a countdown timer. My phone buzzes incessantly. 17 missed calls from my boss, Richard. 17. I don't even bother checking the messages. I already know what they say. Where are you? The convention starts in 3 hours. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. That word has defined my entire life. My name is Olivia Chen, and I'm 32 years old. I live in Manhattan, in a penthouse apartment that costs more than most people's houses. I drive a Tesla, wear designer everything, and haven't taken a vacation in 4 years. Not because I don't want to, but because wanting things is a luxury I've never allowed myself. My parents immigrated to this country with nothing but determination and a dream. They worked 18-hour days so I could have opportunities. The least I could do was make sure every single one of those opportunities counted. So I became the kind of person who doesn't miss flights. The kind of person who arrives 30 minutes early, carries a perfectly organized carry-on, and has backup plans for her backup plans. Until this morning. I blame the coffee machine in my apartment building. It broke yesterday, and I'd been too exhausted from a late-night conference call with Tokyo to notice. This morning, I stumbled into the kitchen at 5 a.m., already running behind schedule, and made the coffee myself. Apparently, I'm not good at making coffee. I spilled it all over my blouse, my only blouse that didn't need ironing, and had to spend 20 minutes finding something else to wear. Then my Uber driver took a wrong turn on the FDR Drive. Then there was an accident on the highway. By the time I arrived at LaGuardia, my flight was boarding. Now, as I round the corner toward Gate 47, I see the agent closing the door. I see my future, the promotion I've been working toward, the partnership opportunity, the validation that all these years of sacrifice meant something, literally closing in my face. Wait, I scream, but my voice is swallowed by the airport noise. I stand there breathing hard, watching the plane push back from the gate. Around me, the world continues. Families embrace, children laugh. An elderly couple holds hands as they walk toward their gate. Everyone else seems to know exactly where they're going. I have no idea where I'm going. My phone buzzes again. Richard. I silence it. For the first time in a decade, I don't have a plan. The convention is non-negotiable. I'm supposed to present a major campaign to potential clients. Richard is going to fire me. My colleagues are going to celebrate. Everything I've built is about to crumble, and there's nothing I can do about it. I make my way to the rebooking counter, already mentally preparing myself for the conversation with Richard, already drafting the email I'll send to my team. I'm so lost in my spiral of catastrophic thinking that I barely notice the chaos around me. The airport is packed. It's a Friday morning, and everyone seems to be going somewhere important. The rebooking agent, a woman with kind eyes and a name tag that says Margaret, tells me there are no flights to Nashville until tomorrow evening, no flights to Atlanta, no flights anywhere that would get me to the convention on time. I'm so sorry, honey, Margaret says, and she actually sounds like she means it. You could try the bus station. There's an interstate bus that leaves in about 40 minutes. It goes through Tennessee, stops in a few small towns. Not the fastest route, but it might get you closer. A bus. I haven't been on a bus since I was 12 years old, on a school trip to the Statue of Liberty. I remember it being loud and smelly and filled with kids who didn't understand the concept of personal space. But I'm desperate. Which bus? I ask. The 6:15 to Memphis. It stops in Knoxville, Chattanooga, and a few smaller towns along the way. You could rent a car from one of those cities, drive to Nashville from there. It's not a good plan. It's barely a plan at all. But it's something. I grab my suitcase, a pristine Louis Vuitton that cost more than Margaret probably makes in a month, and head toward the bus station. My heels echo against the terminal floor. My phone buzzes again. And again. And again. I don't answer. The bus station is exactly as depressing as I remember. Fluorescent lights, uncomfortable plastic chairs, and a vending machine that's missing the M in snacks. I buy a ticket to Memphis from a bored teenager who barely looks up from his phone. $63. I hand him a $100 bill and don't wait for change. I find my gate 4, which is really just a loading area with a bus that's seen better days, and sit down to wait. My suitcase is beside me. My laptop is in my carry-on. I have my phone, though the battery is at 12% and I forgot my charger. Everything is fine. Everything is under control. Then I notice something. The bus driver is loading luggage into the cargo hold, and I watch in slow motion as he picks up a suitcase that looks exactly like mine. Same color, same size, same everything. He loads it onto the bus. Then he picks up my suitcase and loads it onto a different bus. "Wait!" I shout, jumping up. That's not... But he's already closed the cargo door. I run to the driver, a gruff man with a cigarette behind his ear, and the patience of someone who's been dealing with stressed travelers for 30 years. "You loaded my suitcase onto the wrong bus," I tell him, trying to keep my voice level, professional, the way I do in board meetings. He squints at me. "What bus number are you?" "The 6:15 to Memphis." He checks his clipboard. "That's the 6:15 to Memphis," he says, pointing to the bus that just pulled away from the loading area. "My suitcase is on that bus." "Can you stop it?" I ask, already knowing the answer. "Lady, that bus left 2 minutes ago. You want your suitcase? You're going to have to call the company." I take a breath, then another. This is fine. This is a minor inconvenience. I can buy new clothes. I can call the bus company and have them redirect my suitcase. I can handle this. Except I can't. Because the bus driver, my bus driver, the one for the 6:15 to Memphis, is calling for final boarding. And I realize, with a sinking feeling in my stomach, that I need to make a choice. Miss this bus and wait for the company to sort out my suitcase, or get on the bus and hope that everything works out. I've spent my entire life choosing the safe option, the planned option, the option that doesn't involve hoping. I grab my carry-on and run toward the bus. "That's the last call," the driver shouts. I climb aboard, and the doors close behind me. As the bus pulls away from the station, I watch LaGuardia disappear in the distance. My phone buzzes one last time before the signal dies completely. I don't check it. Instead, I lean my head against the window and watch the city give way to highways and trees and a landscape I don't recognize. I'm on a bus headed to Memphis with someone else's suitcase and no idea what comes next. For the first time in my life, I'm completely, utterly lost. And somehow, that feels like the most honest thing I've ever done. The bus breaks down somewhere between Knoxville and Chattanooga. I don't notice at first. I've been staring out the window for hours, watching the landscape transform from urban sprawl to rolling hills to something that looks like it belongs in a postcard. The other passengers are a mix of college students, elderly folks, and a man who's been snoring since we left the city. No one seems particularly concerned when the bus lurches to a stop on a 2-lane highway with nothing but trees and sky in every direction. The driver, a woman named Carol with gray hair and a no-nonsense attitude, makes an announcement. "Engine trouble. Gonna be a couple hours, folks. There's a diner about a mile up the road. You're welcome to walk or wait here." A couple of hours. I check my phone. No signal. My laptop is dead. I forgot to charge it before I left, and the bus doesn't have outlets. I have no way to contact Richard, no way to reschedule the convention, no way to do anything except sit here and watch my career implode in real time. I decide to walk to the diner. The road is quiet in a way that makes me anxious. In New York, silence doesn't exist. There's always honking, sirens, people talking. But here, there's just the sound of my heels on the asphalt and the occasional bird. My blouse is sticking to my back. My feet hurt. I'm wearing a blazer in 80-degree heat because I thought I'd be in an air-conditioned convention center by now. The diner appears around a bend. A small red building with a neon sign that says Ruby's and a parking lot filled with pickup trucks. It looks like the kind of place where nothing interesting has ever happened. It looks like the kind of place I've spent my entire life trying to escape. I go inside anyway. The air conditioning hits me like a blessing. The diner smells like coffee and bacon and something fried. A waitress with red lipstick and a name tag that says Sue looks up from wiping down the counter. "Sit anywhere, hun," she says. I choose a booth by the window, where I can see the road. I order iced tea and a salad, which Sue informs me they don't really do. "We got burgers, chicken sandwiches, meatloaf," she says. "That's about it." "A burger, then," I say, because I'm too tired to argue. The burger arrives with French fries and a pickle. It's the kind of meal I haven't eaten in years, the kind of meal that has more calories than my entire daily intake. I eat it anyway, and it's the best thing I've tasted in months. I'm halfway through my fries when the door opens and she walks in. I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in chemistry, in attraction, in the slow build of compatibility over time. I believe in things that make sense, that fit into my carefully constructed life plan. But when this woman walks through the door of Ruby's Diner in rural Tennessee, something in my chest stops working for a moment. She's tall, with dark hair pulled back in a messy bun and grease stains on her work shirt. Her name tag says Brooke, and she's carrying a toolbox. She looks like she belongs here in a way that I never will. She orders coffee from Sue without looking at the menu. They exchange a few words that I can't quite hear, and Sue laughs like they've shared a private joke. Then Brooke sits down at the counter, and I can't stop looking at her. This is ridiculous. I'm a 32-year-old woman. I don't get distracted by strangers in diners. I have a career to salvage, a reputation to protect, a life that's carefully balanced on the edge of a knife. I look away, but then Sue is standing next to my booth, and she's saying, "You look like you're having a rough day, hun. Where are you headed?" "Nashville," I lie. "Business convention." "You don't look like the convention type," Sue says, and I'm not sure if that's a compliment. "I'm not," I admit. "My flight was delayed. I'm taking the bus." "The bus broke down," Sue says, like this is the most natural thing in the world. "Happens all the time. You're in Clover Creek now. Population 2,342. We don't move very fast around here, but we take care of our own." "I'm not one of your own," I say, and it comes out harsher than I intend. Sue doesn't seem offended. "Not yet," she says and walks away. I finish my burger and drink my iced tea and try very hard not to look at Brooke at the counter. But I'm aware of her the way I'm aware of my own heartbeat. Constant, unavoidable, impossible to ignore. Then she turns around, and our eyes meet. She has the kind of eyes that make you believe in things you've spent your whole life trying not to believe in. They're brown, with gold flecks, and they're looking at me with curiosity, and something else I can't quite name. She smiles. I don't smile back. I look away, but she's already standing up, already walking toward my booth. "You look lost," she says, and her voice is warm in a way that makes me want to run. "I'm fine," I say. "Just waiting for my bus." "The bus that broke down?" She sits across from me without asking permission. "Yeah, I heard. Carol called the garage. My boss is sending a mechanic out there. Probably take a couple hours." That's what I was told. She extends her hand. I'm Brooke. I work at the auto shop here in town. I shake her hand. Her grip is firm, and her palm is warm. Olivia. Olivia, she repeats, like she's testing out the sound of my name. That's a nice name. Where are you from? New York. New York City? Yes. She whistles. That's a long way from home. What brings you to Clover Creek? An engine, I say. My bus's engine. She laughs, and it's a real laugh, the kind that comes from her belly. Fair enough. But you're not from around here, and you're not happy about being here. So I'm guessing you didn't plan on stopping in Tennessee today. I should tell her to leave me alone. I should be rude, dismissive, the way I am with most people who try to get close to me. But something about her makes me want to be honest. I missed my flight, I tell her. I took a bus instead. The bus broke down. I lost my luggage. My phone has no signal. My laptop is dead. And I have a business convention I'm supposed to be at in 6 hours that I'm definitely going to miss. She nods like this all makes perfect sense. So basically, your day is a disaster. My entire life is a disaster, I correct her. Is it? She leans back in the booth, studying me. Or is it just different from what you planned? I don't have an answer to that. You know what I think? Brooke says. I think you need to stop trying to fix everything for 5 minutes and just exist. Have another iced tea, eat a piece of pie, let yourself be lost for a little while. I don't have time to be lost, I say. I have a career. And you'll still have a career tomorrow, she says. But right now, you're in Clover Creek, and Clover Creek has a way of making you slow down whether you want to or not. She stands up, and I feel the loss of her presence like a physical thing. If you need anything while you're stuck here, ask Sue. She knows everyone. And if you need a ride anywhere, I'm usually around. She pulls a business card out of her pocket and leaves it on the table. It's worn, slightly bent, with grease stains on the corners. It says, Brooke Mitchell, auto mechanic, and a phone number. I have a phone, I say. It just doesn't have signal. Then I guess you'll have to come find me, she says, and walks out of the diner. I watch her go, then look down at the business card in my hands. My phone buzzes suddenly. 1 bar of signal, just enough for a text message to come through. It's from Richard. Where the hell are you? I turn my phone off. The bus doesn't leave until the next morning. Carol, the driver, explains that the engine problem is more serious than initially thought. The repair shop in the nearest town can't get a replacement part until tomorrow. She's arranged for all the passengers to stay at the Clover Creek Inn, a bed and breakfast run by a woman named Margaret, who seems to know everyone in town. I'm assigned a room on the 2nd floor with floral wallpaper and a window that overlooks the main street. It's charming in a way that makes me deeply uncomfortable. I've spent my entire life avoiding charm. Charm is a distraction. Charm is what happens when you're not paying attention to what matters. I sit on the bed and turn my phone back on. 17 missed calls from Richard. 23 text messages. An email marked urgent with the subject line, "Where are you?" I read through them once, then turned the phone off again. There's a knock on my door. It's Sue, the waitress from the diner, carrying a tray with a sandwich and a glass of lemonade. Thought you might be hungry, she says. Margaret said you didn't come down for dinner. I'm not hungry, I lie. You look like you could use a friend, Sue says, and somehow she's already inside my room, already sitting on the edge of my bed like we've known each other for years. I know this isn't what you planned. I know you've got places to be and people depending on you. But sometimes life has other plans. Life's plans are usually terrible, I say. Sometimes, Sue agrees. But sometimes they're exactly what you need, even if you don't know it yet. She leaves the sandwich and lemonade on the nightstand and squeezes my hand before she goes. Brooke's having some friends over tomorrow morning for breakfast before you leave. You should come. It'll do you good to be around people. After she leaves, I eat the sandwich. It's turkey and avocado on whole wheat bread, and it's exactly what I would have ordered if I'd been paying attention to what I actually wanted instead of what I thought I should want. I fall asleep thinking about Brooke's eyes. The next morning, I wake up to sunlight streaming through the windows and the sound of birds. My phone still has no signal. My laptop is still dead. And I'm still in Clover Creek, Tennessee, which is the last place on earth I ever thought I'd be. I tell myself I'm not going to breakfast. I tell myself I'm going to stay in my room, keep my distance, and get back to my real life as soon as possible. I tell myself that Brooke is just a distraction, a symptom of my current chaos. Nothing more. Then I put on the only clean clothes I have left, a pair of jeans and a t-shirt from the lost suitcase that somehow ended up being the right suitcase after all, and head downstairs. The breakfast is at Brooke's house, which is a small cottage on the edge of town with a wraparound porch and a garden that looks like it's been tended with love. There are about 10 people there, sitting around a long wooden table, eating pancakes and bacon and laughing about things I don't understand. Brooke is at the head of the table, and when she sees me, her face lights up in a way that makes my stomach do something complicated. "You came," she says, like I've just given her the best gift in the world. "I was told I should," I say, trying to sound reluctant. "Well, I'm glad you did. Come sit next to me." I sit next to her, and she pours me coffee from a carafe that's decorated with hand-painted flowers. The coffee is perfect, strong and hot, and exactly what I need. Everything about this moment is exactly what I need, which is terrifying. "So," Brooke says, "your bus is fixed. You can leave whenever you want." "I know," I say. "But you're here," she says, and there's a question in her voice. "I'm here," I confirm. "Why?" I don't have a good answer. I don't have any answer. I just know that the thought of getting back on that bus and driving away from this place, away from her, feels like the biggest mistake I could possibly make. Because, I say slowly, maybe Sue was right. Maybe I need to stop trying to fix everything and just be here for a minute. Brooke smiles, and it's the kind of smile that changes everything. "In that case," she says, "after breakfast I'm going to show you Clover Creek, the real Clover Creek, not the version you see from a bus window." We spend the entire day together. She shows me the hiking trail that leads to a waterfall hidden in the woods. She takes me to the local bookstore, which is run by an elderly man named Harold, who knows the entire inventory by heart. She drives me to the overlook on the edge of town where you can see 3 states from the top of the mountain. And somewhere between the waterfall and the bookstore and the overlook, I stop thinking about the convention. I stop thinking about Richard. I stop thinking about the career I've spent my entire life building and start thinking about what it might feel like to build something different. We end up back at Ruby's diner as the sun is setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. We sit in the same booth where we first talked, and Brooke orders pie while I order coffee. "You're different than you were yesterday," Brooke says. "I'm not," I say. "I'm the same person. I'm just tired of pretending to be someone I'm not." "Who are you?" she asks, and it's such a simple question that it breaks something open inside me. "I don't know," I admit. I've spent so long becoming the person everyone expected me to be that I forgot to figure out who I actually am. Brooke reaches across the table and takes my hand. Maybe that's what you're here to figure out. I can't stay, I say. But even as I say it, I know it's a lie. I have a life in New York. Do you? She asks gently. Or do you have a job in New York? I don't answer because I don't know the difference anymore. You don't have to decide anything right now, Brooke says. But I want you to know that if you decide to stay, even for a little while, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. She squeezes my hand, and I feel something shift inside my chest. It's terrifying and wonderful, and exactly what I've been running from my entire life. I'll think about it, I say. But I've already made my decision. I call Richard the next morning from the payphone at the Clover Creek Inn. The signal is still spotty, but I manage to get through. His voice comes through the line like a storm, angry, disappointed, the way he sounds when someone has failed him. I listen to him yell for 3 minutes before I interrupt. I quit, I say. There's a long silence. What? He finally says. I quit. I'm not coming back. I'm not finishing the campaign. I'm not going to the convention. I'm done. You can't just quit, he says. You have contracts. You have obligations. You have a reputation. I know, I say, and I'm throwing it all away. You're having a breakdown, he says, and he sounds almost concerned now, which is worse than when he was angry. You're stressed. You missed a flight. You're in some small town in the middle of nowhere. You're not thinking clearly. Actually, I say, I'm thinking more clearly than I have in years. I hang up before he can say anything else. The woman at the front desk, Margaret, the owner of the inn, is pretending not to listen, but I can see her trying not to smile. That was brave, she says. That was stupid, I correct her. Maybe, she says. But sometimes brave and stupid look the same from the outside. It's only the person living it who knows the difference. I spend the day with Brooke again. We fix her truck, which has been making a strange noise for weeks. Well, she fixes it while I hand her tools and try not to think about how attractive she looks covered in grease. We have lunch at a deli that makes sandwiches the size of my head. We sit on her porch in the evening and watch the sun set over the mountains. So you quit your job, she says, and it's not a question. How did you know? Sue told me. Sue tells everyone everything. Are you disappointed? I ask. I just threw away my entire career for a woman I met 2 days ago. That's insane. It is, Brooke agrees, but it's also kind of romantic. It's stupid, I say. Maybe, she says. But you don't look like you regret it. And I don't. That's the terrifying part. I don't regret it at all. I don't have a job, I say. I don't have a plan. I don't have anything. You have time, Brooke says. You have a place to stay. You have people who care about you. That's more than most people have. I have you? I ask, and it comes out like a question because I'm still not sure if this is real. You have me, she confirms, if you want me. I do want her. I want her in a way that scares me, in a way that makes me understand why people do crazy things, in a way that makes me understand that sometimes the biggest detour is actually the shortest path to where you're supposed to be. I want you, I say. She kisses me then, and it tastes like possibility and second chances and all the things I've been too afraid to want. 3 months later, I'm sitting in a small office above the auto shop, working on a freelance marketing campaign for a boutique hotel chain. The money is less than I used to make, but the hours are flexible, and I'm not spending my life in meetings with people who don't care about anything except the bottom line. Brooke comes in with coffee and a sandwich from the deli. She kisses the top of my head, and I lean back in my chair to look at her. How's the campaign going? She asks. Good, I say. They want to focus on the experience rather than the amenities. It's different from what I used to do, but it feels more honest. That's because it is, she says. I've learned a lot about honesty in the past 3 months. I've learned that it's okay to not have all the answers. I've learned that sometimes the best plans are the ones you don't make. I've learned that home isn't a place you build according to specifications. It's a place where you feel safe being yourself. I've also learned that Brooke takes her coffee with too much sugar, that she sings off-key in the shower, that she cries at animal documentaries, and that she's the most patient, kind, genuine person I've ever met. Last week, I got a call from my old company. They wanted me back, offering me a promotion and a significant raise. I said no without hesitation. The old Olivia would have jumped at that opportunity. The old Olivia would have seen it as validation that she'd made the right choices. But I'm not the old Olivia anymore. I'm the Olivia who takes walks in the morning and notices the way the light hits the mountains. I'm the Olivia who has dinner with friends instead of working late at the office. I'm the Olivia who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to choose it, even if it doesn't make sense on paper. I'm the Olivia who got on a bus by accident and found exactly what she needed. I was thinking, Brooke says, sitting on the edge of my desk, that maybe you'd want to move in with me. I mean, if you want to. No pressure. I look at her, this woman who changed my life by simply being kind to a stranger in a diner, and I realize that I'm happy. Not the kind of happiness that comes from achieving goals or winning competitions. The kind of happiness that comes from being exactly where you're supposed to be, with exactly who you're supposed to be with. Yes, I say. I want to move in with you. She grins. Yeah? Yeah. She pulls me up from my chair and spins me around, and I laugh in a way that I haven't laughed since I was a child. It's a real laugh, the kind that comes from joy instead of nervousness, the kind that makes me feel alive. Later that evening, I'm packing up my things at the inn. Margaret helps me fold my clothes, and Sue brings me a box of homemade cookies for the road. You're going to be happy here, Sue says. And it's not a prediction, it's a fact. I already am, I tell her. I think about the woman I was 3 months ago, the woman who was so focused on the destination that she forgot to notice the journey. The woman who thought that success meant having everything figured out, that happiness was something you earned through sacrifice and hard work. I think about the missed flight and the broken bus and the lost suitcase. I think about how each of those disasters was actually a gift, a chance to get off the path I'd been on and discover a different one. I think about how the biggest detour of my life turned out to be exactly the right road all along. And as I drive away from the inn with Brooke beside me, heading toward our new life together, I understand something that I've spent my entire life trying to avoid. Sometimes the best things in life are the ones you don't plan for. Sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that start with a missed flight and a broken-down bus. Sometimes getting lost is the only way to find your way home. Thank you so much for listening to Olivia's story, all the way to the end. I hope her journey reminded you that sometimes life's greatest detours lead us exactly where we need to be. Here's my advice for you. Don't be so focused on the destination that you forget to enjoy the journey. Life is full of unexpected moments, and some of the most beautiful ones are the ones we never planned for. Be open to surprises. Be kind to strangers. And never be afraid to take a different road if the one you're on doesn't feel right anymore. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating stories that touch your heart. Leave a comment below and tell me which city you're watching from. I'd love to know where this story has reached. God bless you all, and may your own unexpected journeys lead you to exactly where you're meant to be.